Hey guys, I got a question from a friend a few days ago. He asked me why my music sometimes sounds a little off pitch, a little weird. And I realized that I've never given any explanation on what I play. It's actually Japanese medieval music using old scales, relative pitch, and a completely different way to shape the notes. So I figured, yeah, maybe I'm going to talk about it a little. But first, I'm going to play something for you just to put it in context. I'm going to play a netori. Netori is the tuning piece of music that you play before you actually start on longer tunes. It helps you to get acquainted with a specific season. I'm going to play a mode which is called oshiki, which is the summer. And so I'll start with the netori of summer, and then I will play shote, which is the equivalent of honshirabe, if you will, for the shakuhachi. It's a tune that you play basically every day, and that will... I can't really say that because all the tunes that we learn, we can potentially play them, all the time at different times of the day, and feel that they come out different, they taste different. But shote is special because it's the one that you keep coming back to, or at least that's how my teacher taught us, and that's how I use it, because that's the one that I know best. That's the one that I've been playing for the longest in all the seasons that I know so far. Because as I told you, there's a mode for summer, there's a mode for basically each season, and even the inter-season, which is a concept that you might have heard about if you're familiar with traditional Chinese medicine. So it's really a fascinating topic, and well, today I'm just going to talk about the reason why the notes sound a little funny sometimes to our modern Western ear that is used to absolute pitch. But then another time I think I'd like to cover everything about the seasons and how you use them in the music, because it's so cool and so interesting. So enough said about that. I'm going to play a little, then I'll put right after this recording the one that I made yesterday, which explains shortly what's going on. I think the video lasts something like 3 minutes. And then, I don't know if the mood is right, I might be playing a little bit of Shakuhachi. So for the ones who are getting confused with all those weird words, this is the Hitoyogiri, which is the medieval instrument. This is the Shakuhachi, which is an Edo period flute, so 16th century onward. And I hope you enjoy. Right, let's start with the netori. And now shote. Okay, I just watched the video I made yesterday and I'm actually not very happy with it, so I'm just going to redo it like this now, spur of the moment. My point was to explain why what I play sounds a bit off. And the main reason is the instrument itself, although there's also the fact that it's different aesthetics, it's older music. But really, I think it gets a lot easier to understand what's going on if you just look at the flute and you realize that it's like blowing on the edge of the bottle to produce a sound. If you look at it, it doesn't have a whistle on the top like a recorder has, which means that you got to approach it the same way that, imagine you've got a landscape in front of you, right? And you want to go home with an image of that landscape. You have two options. Either you're going to take your camera and put it in automatic mode, and if you press the right buttons, you're going to get a perfect image to take home. And that would be, in terms of pitch, the equivalent of a recorder, because the recorder is made that in such a way that if you block the right holes, you're going to get absolute pitch. Whereas with a hitayogiri or with a shakuhachi, imagine you're in front of your landscape and you want to take a memory of it back home. You are going to take your ink and your brush out of your pocket. You're going to take your piece of paper. Then you're going to load the brush with the right amount of ink. You're going to have to apply the right pressure on the paper and put the strokes of ink at the right place so that it looks like the landscape. You're really going to do it all yourself, and that's really what is going on with the hitayogiri. You're going to be dependent on the amount of air that you blow, the shape of your mouth and of your lips and of your tongue, and also how you tilt the instrument. You are not playing in absolute pitch, you are playing in relative pitch, and that means that you are singing around the note. It can vary all the way to a quarter of a tone. So this can be very, very disturbing for us, especially Westerners using modern instruments. We are used to perfect pitch, which is not really happening with this. And it's not meant to, because what brings the music to life is the slight variations that you're going to have in the notes. But of course, it's not supposed to be an excuse to get it wrong and not realize that you're getting it wrong, but it's got to be a choice, kind of an artistic choice, if you will, which was more common at the time because everybody, well, not everybody, but the people who played this, there were a lot more of them, just like there are, I guess, guitar players here nowadays, and it was something that they were used to. So that's why it sounds off at times. Well, okay, sometimes I probably get a note wrong. That's really possible because I'm not an expert, but quite often it is the way that I have learned it, and it's also by choice that I'm going to bend a note. There was something else that I wanted to say yesterday. Yes, that's it. I wanted to talk about the reason why I'm still posting those videos if I know that it's not perfect and that it might not be liked by very many people. And the reason why I do this is more because I want to create a space of free expression, if you will, a space where you can listen differently and be curious about things that may sound a bit weird. I want to remind gently that what we find beautiful, very often we find it beautiful because of the culture we live in and or upbringing. It's really acquired taste. And it's easy to check if you look at fashion or at how people are, facial features, etc., are considered beautiful or not. There are cultures where, I don't remember which one it was, I saw that on social media a while back, and it was really interesting how ladies who had a lot of facial hair were very, very appreciated and considered extremely beautiful in some culture. I think North Africa or something like that. Don't know, don't remember. But I found it great because here it is not necessarily considered fantastic. It's something that ladies tend to avoid a bit more, and in other places it was just something desirable. And that I'm talking about this to show my point, which is it's not because we are not used to it that it's necessarily wrong. I also want to emphasize the fact that something that comes from the heart deserves to be shared. And I want to say this because I've got many friends that I'm talking to, and to whom I say, well, I started this YouTube channel and I'm doing it, you know, mostly for myself. I'm not trying to have lots and lots of views, but I'm happy if I can share the joy and the enthusiasm, you know. And they say, oh, I would like to have a YouTube channel too. I have a lot to talk about. I'd like to share this and that, but I don't dare because, you know, you got to show yourself, and you're gonna suck at the start, and it's gonna look bad, and you're gonna be ridiculous, and you're gonna be judged, and blah blah. And that's very, very true. But I find it's a pity because it's obviously holding back so many interesting people, and they are not sharing things that they'd like to talk about wholeheartedly, and I find it's a shame. So I thought maybe if I just do it, well, it's a good exercise for me. First of all, because I'm having fun, but also because if I find like-minded people who actually enjoy it and we can have a chat about it, it's wonderful. And if it can show other people that, well, I'm still around, even if maybe my videos are not perfect, that can inspire others, and that's very, very, very nice. And also because I love Hitoyagiri and Shakuhachi, and I want to share it, and I just can't hold back. So this video ended up being a lot less polished than I had planned, but it's a lot more spontaneous, and I had a lot of fun recording it. And well, I hope you enjoyed it as well. I will now play a little bit of Shakuhachi, and see you next time. Okay, I figured I would play Honshirabe, which is boring for all the people who play Shakuhachi because we've played it so much and heard it so much. But I figured it would be interesting to put it here because I've played Shote, which I consider its equivalent in Hitoyagiri, and also because I actually really like Honshirabe. I play it every day and it sounds different every day, which is what I love about it. So here we go. is that it doesn't sound like the classical honcharabe, can't speak English anymore. And it's not the point. I'm just playing it to have fun. I play it as it comes right now, how it feels. And I'm just letting it play itself through me, basically. It's more a practice of presence than a research of aesthetics, which is why sometimes the note are cracking a little. But that's why I feel it's also bringing the piece to life more and making it more personal. So, yeah, this is what I do and this is what I enjoy doing. And I think it gives us a lot of freedom of expression. And it's important. It's important sometimes to allow ourselves to do our thing however it comes right now, without having to constantly think that it's got to be perfect, that it's got to be exactly like what it's supposed to sound like, how it's supposed to be played, how it's played by others, not constantly having models. I think models are good. You know, it's good to have someone to look up to, but sometimes you just have to stand for yourself and be happy with that.